again, welcome back to AirJobBoss. I am the AirJobBoss, and this is a continuation of our interview question and answer series. And today's question is going to be, tell me about a time you gave positive feedback to somebody and why. Okay, so why? The important part of this is the why. And why do you, as a leader, because you are getting hired as a captain, and this means leadership is a significant part of that, why would you give positive feedback? Well, there's certain reasons why one would give positive feedback, and so you want to incorporate this why. Now, you're going to tell the story in the answer about this situation that occurs. Now, it's best that you're in an authority role and you're talking to a subordinate. So if you've been a captain or if you've had hold a military rank, try to make it as a leader down to a follower or a superior down to a subordinate. This shows you're basically, because the motives for complimenting somebody or giving them positive feedback are very effective in leadership. And that's really what they're probably hiring you for, is eventually a leadership role, a captain position at their airline. So let's go over some of the reasons that you would use positive feedback. One is to set an example for the people that are adjacent to the conversation, meaning if you're in a group of people that are all subordinate to you, for example, a group of flight attendants during a briefing, and you comment on a single flight attendant pointing out something positive about their compliance with policy, or their going the extra mile, or their ability to increase safety or customer service. This lets the others know what is valuable and what you as a leader value in the subordinate group. And it then inspires them to comply or to step up to that expectation, or fulfill their own abilities with the abilities of that person you have complimented. So it is a way to motivate people that are adjacent to the person you are complimenting or giving positive feedback to. Another reason why you would give positive feedback to somebody is to build confidence in them, to promote more effectiveness in their position. Okay, so example, if you're a captain and you are giving positive feedback to a first officer who might be lacking in self-confidence or are not as don't have as much initiative in their self, by giving them positive feedback in certain situations, you are using this as a tool to increase their confidence, which results in more effectiveness. Okay, so if you can tell a story about something like that, a shy first officer, or a first officer that had not as high self-confidence as you felt was optimal, giving them a compliment about something genuine. It has to be a genuine positive critique that they know is truthful. This bolsters their self-confidence in your cooperation and procedures with them, and they become a more effective and safer, efficient crew member. So that is another reason why. Another reason why you would give positive feedback to a subordinate is to reinforce policy adherence. For example, if you're a captain and you happen to be discussing policy and the first officer says, well, this is the policy, points out a policy or points out the reason why they're doing something in accordance with policy, giving positive feedback, expressing your gratitude that they are following policy and they're adhering to policy, is a tool to reinforce that behavior. You're reinforcing the positive behavior. You want them to continue this behavior, yeah? Also, there is a derogatory process we call giving somebody a sandwich with a filling in the middle that's not so tasty. And this whole something sandwich philosophy is to, when you're giving positive feedback, this can be used to soften criticism. So what you do is, in certain situations when you have a subordinate that you have to correct on negative behavior, you surround the conversation with positive attributes. For example, you say something like, you know, I've observed you and you're a very conscientious first officer, and I really appreciate the amount of care you take in being safe. And I find that you do your walk around very quick, and I'm worried that you're not actually inspecting the aircraft properly. So next time you go out, I want you to make sure you review the policies and our procedure for exterior inspection. I want to make sure every item is checked thoroughly, because you are really quite a good first officer, and your development into a captain is going to be very quick. And I can see you becoming a very great captain one day. And I know that you'll expect your FO to do a thorough walk around. See, positive aspect, bring in the negative, and then a positive aspect. This is a way you're using positive feedback as a method to deliver negative news that you need correction made. So this is another technique. If you have a story of this nature or a situation in the future, you can express this story in this format. The last point that I want to make on this is why you would give positive feedback as a subordinate. For example, if you're a first officer or if you're in flight training, giving positive feedback to the company on a particular instructor points out to the company the techniques that that instructor used for you that you found effective, and you were able to learn better because of that technique. So making a formal briefing, email communication, call, however the protocol is for your company to give positive praise to a superior, to their superior, is a way to reinforce to the company that they can distribute these ideas, these techniques that those leaders use, that subordinates have found effective in helping them become greater, more safe, more efficient pilots. Okay, so that's basically the format. So you could make a situation like this. Tell me a time you gave positive feedback to a crew member and why. When I was working for a large aircraft, a large airline over the Pacific. We were flying 747s, and there were 14 cabin attendants on board. Now, these cabin attendants were contracted from various countries and various cultures to increase the diversity of the workforce, because our passengers are multicultural, and so our flight attendants were also multicultural. But because it was multicultural, the way one would prepare and conduct their job varies, and this can stray from company policy from time to time. So in an effort to maintain good company policy, a standard amongst all the flight attendants, I would regularly pick out one flight attendant who was smiling, properly dressed, and polite. And I would say to that individual in front of all the other flight attendants during briefing, I appreciate your efficiency and your customer service. It looks like you're well prepared today. I appreciate you taking notes to the briefing. I've noticed you are exceptionally dressed according to our policy, and I appreciate that smile on your face, because I know our customers will appreciate that also. I think you make an excellent example of what this company expects out of a flight attendant. And then I went on my briefing to the general staff of the flight attendants for that flight. I encouraged this person in front of everybody else to make everybody else understand what is expected, and in a positive way, I would say motivate them to be more like this particular individual and have those characteristics, adopt those characteristics, so that we're all uniform and we're providing the greatest customer service to our employees or customers. Okay. Conversely, you could say, as a first officer, I flew with a captain I felt was very well prepared, had an excellent demeanor, invited conversation and my input on safety and efficiency related material. I found them to be very helpful to me in pointing out things that I could improve upon myself in a way in which was very easy for me to take the criticism. So I actually wrote a letter to my chief pilot. This is normal protocol, and I just described the captain, their behavior, and that I was very thankful for this pilot and the way that they handled their cockpit and the tempo in which we flew and the overall environment of the cockpit and their CRM techniques, and how I felt that this captain was exemplary in their duty, in hopes that, number one, this captain would be recognized and that our flight department would understand the qualities of a captain that make it very easy, safe, and efficient to operate online. Okay, so tell a story, one of these situations, and make sure you focus on the why. The why is really important. Again, in conclusion, because you're going to be motivating people through positive feedback as a leader. So put yourself mostly in the leadership category. If not, you can put yourself in the subordinate category as well, like as in the last story, the FO, because you're still being a leader, because you're actually impressing upon the company ways in which they can improve. And every company needs ways in which they can improve. This is something that they're continuously looking forward to achieving. All right, that's it for the day. Pardon me. I am AirJobBoss. You can look below and click on my website and find out more about one-on-one interview preparation. Until next time, have a good flight.